a phantom. He's Danny Phantom. This is one of those costumes where the child in me can't help but to smile big. What y'all know about Danny Fentanyl? Phantom. But thank you, my beautiful movie peeps, for coming back here once again. We got so much wonderful movie news to discuss, so let's get into it. Some of the things we'll be looking into here today, guys, is it looks like we finally have a release date for the Scream 7 trailer. A lot of us wondering what that's gonna look like. We got the first reactions for Predator Badlands, and although they seem very positive, there are a couple of red flags in these reviews that are making me worry. And a report of a description of the villain for the Superman sequel, Man of Tomorrow, giving us a hint at who the big bad could be. Oh, we'll be diving into that along with so much more, so you guys know the drill. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, comment down below, and heck, if you comment, you might get a voice memo back from me. Yeah, YouTube has added this feature where I could just record a voice message responding to you. I think that's kind of fun, so tonight, after I post this side flick, I'm just gonna be responding to you and saying whatever I like. Might not even be related to what you commented. But okay, diving into the first movie news story we have here today, I definitely wanted to bring up this new horror movie based off a video game that's channeling a lot of FNAF energy. We have Deadline here reporting that Finding Frankie video game set for feature adaptation from Mortal Kombat producer Sean Robbins. For those of you who don't know, Finding Frankie is a relatively new game. This is actually the first time I've heard about it, but in the article they describe it as being in the veins of Squid Games meets Five Nights at Freddy's, and there's tons of playthroughs online from some of your favorite creators where it deals with some sort of twisted factory where you're having to escape from some animatronic monsters. Honestly, does not surprise me. Ever since the success of the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, every video game in that sort of category, not is to say they're direct copycats. I know there's going to be Finding Freaky fans, or what is it, Finding Frankie fans that are going to be so pissed that it's not a Five Nights at Freddy's ripoff. It's quite compelling, and sometimes the lore gets deeper than that Fazbear. But since Five Nights at Freddy's success, we've had a Poppy's Playtime movie announced, we have Bendy and the Ink Machine movie, and now Finding Frankie. And I think that is all in part again to the success with Five Nights at Freddy's. I cannot wait to see when these movies actually come out, because beforehand we just had things like Willy's Wonderland or the Banana Splits movie that I just think is flat out dumb, but I would have watched another one if they made it. But neither of those reached the level of success of FNAF. You can't just put in killer animatronics and expect the people to show up. But throwing it off to you Finding Freaky fans. Is Finding Frankie something that you think could be as successful as the Five Nights at Freddy's movie was? Next up here, we finally got an update on the Scream 7 trailer. I know there's been countless rumors and reports, myself included. I am still standing by the sources and what they told me of what will be in this trailer, or at least a version of this trailer, might just be bits and pieces, but we're all gonna find out come this Thursday. Daniel RPK, who is most reliable when it comes to exact dates on trailer releases. I say exact dates because admittedly he did say in September that the trailer would be released then, only for it not to come out. But being that trailer release dates are his specialty, when he gives you an exact date, you can pretty much guarantee it'll actually be released. And he's saying the Scream 7 trailer will hit this Thursday. Right before Halloween, that makes sense. Gotta take advantage of the spooky season. I'm not only curious for myself to see this trailer and if my excitement for the film will grow, but I'm honestly more curious for the general reception, because I know that they're just going to be showing off so much Matthew Lillard just because him as an actor, especially now attached to the Five Nights at Freddy's universe, he's got a lot of credit. Seeing him come back as Stu will bring a lot of people talking, but I'll tell you one thing, whether you're excited or you're just hating Scream 7, the day that trailer comes out, it is going to be a bloodbath online and opinions will be everywhere. But throwing off to you, are you looking forward to it? What do you hope to see in it? And if everything I said in my trailer video was wrong, be kind to me. I dress like Danny Phantom, alright? Next up here, we have Predator Badlands that's quickly approaching and getting released next month. Well, there was a bunch of screenings held in the UK and in the States where people have now expressed their opinion on how they feel about this movie. And while I will say general positivity, there are a couple of things in there that make me wonder how other fans of the franchise will take it. We have here one that reads, Predator Badlands is a cosmic buddy road movie and it's all killer, no filler. Dan Trachtenberg smartly maneuvers the franchise to a grander scale than just another survival horror. It might not be as traditionally gory, but I had a blast with it. We have here another one that says, Predator Badlands is a pretty badass expansion of the Predator franchise. Dan Trachtenberg delivers yet another thrilling action in this world, even if this might be his weakest work in the franchise. Yeah, it's the most action-packed Predator film, some of it as brutal as you would expect, while other moments rely on more comedic aspects brought into the film. It's an interesting angle to take the Predator Predator film, and one that doesn't always work. The film feels a bit like The Mandalorian at times. When it's good though, it's good. A pretty balanced review, things they didn't enjoy but things they liked and overall still enjoyed the movie. We have another one here that says Dan Trachtenberg's Predator Badlands is an epic spectacle, takes us on a deep dive into the Yachuan mythology, more sci-fi epic than a traditional Predator film. It takes some big swings that don't always land despite its bold approach. Legacy fans might be left disappointed. And the last one that I thought was maybe the harshest review out there, Dan Trachtenberg is a brave man. This is a Predator movie for kids. I enjoyed it enormously, but don't know who it's for. It's Disney-fied with an eye to selling merch. It's cute, elephanting rules as you'd expect. And okay, diving into this, a lot of interesting things being said, and it's definitely putting me at an expectation level for this movie. But, you know, just looking at it, Predator Badlands definitely seemed like a widely different approach to the franchise, making the Predator the main character, the one we root for on this mission. It seemed to go so much against to what the Predator franchise built, but I felt like maybe something like that is what the franchise needed. It was growing stale. It does make me sad to hear some people thought this was the weakest Dan Trachtenberg Predator film when he did Prey and the animated Predator movie. The other thing here I'm noticing is some people do notice the PG-13 rating and how this isn't the most bloodthirsty Predator movie we've gotten in the past. It feels a little safer, kidified, and that sucks, man, because I need them Predators to be bloody. But we'll wait and see, man. This is not lower my excitement for the movie. If anything, again, like it says, it just sets my expectations. And there's been plenty of super positive reviews. I just wanted to look for the more balanced ones that weren't just straight up positive with buzzwords. But it's intriguing to hear how some people feel about it. I throw it off to you guys. You see these reactions to Predator Badlands. Does it worry you? Does it make you feel like, yeah, I kind of figured that? Leave your thoughts down below. Then from here, we just got a bunch of DC updates we're going to go through here, starting off with these reports that Supergirl is headed for reshoots. Supergirl had just wrapped filming, but like with all comic book movies, they schedule reshoots for whenever they do see the film and they want to tweak a few things. And well, it looks like part of those reshoots are going to involve adding David Cornsweet's Superman. Some people found evidence to this because if you look at the Warner Brothers studio tour that they have actually removed the David Cornsweet Superman suit and have told us that it's currently being used in a production. And well, Man of Tomorrow does not start filming until spring of next year. Don't know why they need to pull it this far in advance unless they need it for Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. And you know, as I'm saying this, I am now just making the connection. Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, Superman Man of Tomorrow, or has it already been announced that Woman of Tomorrow was dropped from the title? Either way, Blank of Tomorrow seems to be a heavy theme here, so it could make sense to throw in Superman in there at the end, wrap up the story. Maybe the whole movie is just Supergirl telling her cousin the adventure she just had, or things in that movie do segue us into Man of Tomorrow, where we'll have an adventure there and Supergirl could be featured. I definitely could see James Gunn doing that. But I honestly have no problem, and it makes sense. You want to really showcase people this is connected, and although Supergirl showed up at the end of Superman, it'd be nice to have it vice versa. Another quick update in the Elseworld part of the DCU, the Batman Part 2. We had Colin Farrell confirming something we already knew, but it's nice just to hear it again, that the Batman Part 2 will take place a few weeks after the end of The Penguin. This is something that we had heard long time ago. Most people had forgotten, to the point when this was brought up, a lot of people thought it was new news when it was really old news. But it was such old news that it did make you wonder, oh, maybe things aren't going to be the same. Maybe Matt Reeves had a change of heart, or because it has been almost 6 years in between Batman movies, they'll maybe also add in a bigger time jump. But no, there's only a couple months will have passed in the Batman universe, and half a decade would have gone by in our world. This white hair here might be real by the time I walk into the Batman Part 2. But still, I love to hear this because it means we are going to be getting a snowy Gotham. And although we've gotten that before in like Tim Burton's Batman Returns, imagining Matt Reeves' Gotham and Robert Pattinson's Batman surrounded by snow and the cinematography and all those looks, this movie's going to be Aura-farm the movie, and I am all here for it. So again, we knew this already, but still nice to hear it again. Then we got a lot of updates involving the Lantern series. There was a Men's Health magazine where they interviewed creators of the show, and they really gave us a lot of details that make me so excited. For one, they reiterate something we had first heard about with this Green Lantern show, is that it will be a buddy cop show, but also that the main theme of the show is our show is in a lot of ways about replacement. When should someone step aside, and when is it time for for the next person to take the reins. Kind of obvious what they mean by that, since we're following an older Hal Jordan that's been through a lot, and now he has rookie Jon Stewart by his side. Looks like a lot of the show will be him just realizing, hey, it looks like you're Earth's main Green Lantern, and I'm going to take more of a sidestep. Which I know is going to piss off some Hal Jordan fans. I'm a big Hal Jordan fan, and I would have liked him to be younger and more in his prime alongside Jon Stewart. But as long as they don't kill him off and he's still somehow involved, I will be okay with that. They give us further background into this version of Jon Stewart, which just sounds awesome, where he was a Marine sniper, which requires a certain kind of focus and diligence. After the Marines, he became an architect. So there's an artistic side to him. And that is something from the comics and is a part of Jon Stewart and what makes him such a great wielder of the Green Lantern ring. His ability to create a bunch of crazy fun stuff. And that has also been my favorite things about the Green Lantern. It's not always about making a giant green fist or a middle finger a la Guy Gardner. Sometimes it's creating all these crazy machineries, weapons and whatnot, and having Jon Stewart have an architecture background and adding there's an artistic side to him. Oh, that just means a lot of interesting things getting crafted. And although it looks like the Lantern show is a little bit more grounded and serious, I hope there is plenty of Green Ring action. And last big DC update that just came out as I was recording this, it looks like we have gotten some descriptions of behind the scenes of Man of Tomorrow that really hint to us who the villain could be. That's something a lot of us are wondering who it's going to be. I think a lot of fans are dead set on Brainiac like I am. I'd love to see him come in there, but knowing James Gunn and how out of pocket and weird he gets, it might be somebody we're not expecting. Well, this is coming from the Nexus Point. That has been a very reliable source. They have had a great track record, and they've gotten their hands on a description of the villain that is being sent out there to agencies so they can look for an actor to fill in the role. And that makes sense with the movie gearing up to be filmed in spring. They're probably doing a lot of casting and background stuff to get the movie ready. So they have it here. Sources tell Nexus Point that the makeup and prosthetics will be used for the film's antagonist. In addition, actors with a strong build and stature are being looked at for the role. The makeup and prosthetics portion heavily hints at the character being Brainiac, known for his green skin and technological enhancements. Another character heavily speculated by fans to be the villain is Mongol, whom the casting description could be hinting at as well. Mongol is particularly known for his size, and makeup could be used to recreate his yellow skin. So again, those last two ones, Brainiac and Mongol, that's more of a speculation based off that. What we really have as fact right now, or what we're presuming is fact with this report, is that the villain is going to require prosthetic and makeup work. And that, I think, does eliminate a lot of human villains in the DCU, but that also opens the door to so many other villains that use prosthetics. I mean, Gorilla Grodd is a possibility with this. Although I think they probably use CGI Planet of the Apes style, maybe they'd go practical and get a guy in a monkey suit. But I really do think Brainiac and Mongol are probably a smart choice. I'd be fine with either. Of course, I would most want Brainiac, especially since we've been hearing from James Gunn that this movie is heavily from the perspective of Lex Luthor. Well, then you want to give him an intellectual villain he could fight against, and Brainiac would be just that. Still, though, we'll have to wait and see, but you guys are hearing, makeup, prosthetics, strong build. Who comes to mind on what villain could fill that role? Anyways, guys, that is all movie news currently going on right now. I want to thank you so much for taking time out of my day to watch me talk some movie news. Don't be forgetting to hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. Follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Danny Phantom. Take care.